No, James Comey, director of the FBI, actually will be Hillary's private State Department. And what I mean by that, Alex, is that she set up her own private email server, meaning that all communications to her from any other source around the world, whether it was about ISIS, about Putin, or about the UK, or about Muslims, or whoever, had to first come to her server. Now, that was not the appropriate protocol. We all know the appropriate protocol was for all information to come into the government server, and then she disseminate that information to the appropriate person, whether it be the Pentagon or whether it be the illegal president, Obama, or others. So what Hillary effectively did, and you got to give her credit for being as shrewd as a rattlesnake on this one. She now controls information over the past 4 years of her Secretary of State tenure that the government does not have privilege to. And when it was discovered that she had this and a lot of stink was made about it, she deleted a ton of emails and then scrambled all the others. In other words, Hillary had her own private State Department. She only allowed the Pentagon, she only allowed Obama and others enter information that she deemed them worthy or had a need to know. And that's the thing that Comey did not discuss on yesterday.
Wow, that's why I love having you. Clearly she was using it, as I've said, as a Dropbox. 33,000 are missing.
Absolutely.
But the spy is Hillary because she's the one getting the data to then broker it out regardless. And absolutely, it's all the missing emails. It's that she bypassed the State Department itself, hijacking the Department of State. Wow.
Absolutely. That's exactly what she did. And who knows what information she has? Who knows whether the world would be in a much different state now?
And we know the Clintons have always been blackmailing people off the stuff they got 20 years ago. And now, oh my gosh. Wow, it's even worse than I thought.
Yeah. And so the fact that she was able to do this, get away with it, who knows what information we could have been privileged to? Who knows how many lives have been lost?
What's crazy, Manning? I mean, I'm not just kissing your butt. It's true. Nobody else is bringing this up except you. And what an angle. That's it. She had her own State Department.
Absolutely.
And then where's the missing emails? She stole data.
Yeah. And you know, and the other thing, Alex, is that Comey said on yesterday that were at least they were able to piece together during their reconstructing of the emails that were dumped, trash, or deleted, that 110 of them had been classified, a certain amount top secret, classified, etc. But there were 33,000 emails that went through her system. Now, just in general, 33,000 emails, when you think about it, coming to the Secretary of State, and only 110 of them, 110 ratio to 33,000 that were considered top secret, or those were the ones that they were privileged to, and in that none of those were alleged to have been violated. The other insult that he gave us on yesterday was that though she had created her own State Department, her own Pentagon, her own source of power, her own presidency, that her email server was never hacked. I mean, come on. And anybody, she sent you an email. You and her may have been conversing about something that you were aware of, or Wayne Matson or Paul Watson may have been aware of, and you were communicating about it, and you thought that your communication with her was tight with the government seal upon it. But you were never hacked as well. It was ridiculous, the things we heard on yesterday regarding how they whitewashed. In fact, whitewash would be a nice word for what they did for Hillary, to say to her, you got the power, you ran the United States in a certain way, Obama ran it another way, and we're not going to trouble you. We're not going to make you force up the information that you know. And we're not.
Well, that really is what's happening, whether it's Bill Clinton or whether it's Obama. She just attaches herself onto a presidency and then operates. She did that under Clinton. She ran her own White House separate, kind of like Dick Cheney did with Bush. This is
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. Exactly what she did. And he had to, Alex, Obama had to bring her on either as vice president, which he was not going to do, or as Secretary of State. Because if you go back to the feeling during those days when he finally won the election, and every last one of us knew that they took it from her. They took the state of Florida, they took the state of Michigan from her. They bamboozled the American people. The media...
Absolutely. Stay there. Piercing angles on that, Pastor Manning. Let me expand on that in this question. Why do you think the FBI director did that? Looking at the different power structure, we know the Clintons and the Obamas don't like each other. Hillary's come out and said now she wants Loretta Lynch to continue on. Why would Clinton force his way on her plane in that James Bond villain meeting on the tarmac? I mean, it's like they're trying to rub our face in it, or they just don't care. What's going on?
Well, they absolutely don't care. That's for sure. But Comey had to do that to protect the integrity of all the other people, going all the way back to the Supreme Court decision regarding Obamacare and Lieutenant Justice Roberts finding a loophole to cement an illegal program against the American people and Obamacare. But also, you know, there's no proverb, oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And quite frankly, James Comey, in order to hold the position that he holds now, must play ball with everybody else. That is to say, we've been tangling a weave. Of course, politics has always been politics, going back to Woodrow Wilson, back in the days of trying to establish the League of Nations. But since Obama, Alex, we have seen an uptick, in fact, a tsunami of political corruption like we've never seen before. And quite frankly, anybody who's in politics right now is a part of the corrupt system and protecting the interest of the corruptors. But right now, I'm ready to go out on a limb now and say, what Donald Trump is saying in one regard, that Hillary is the most crooked politician to ever run for office, he's absolutely right. And we need to think about it in this regard. There has nobody been as corrupt as Hillary is right now. And she's holding the power over all people, including James Comey. So in order for him to maintain his position, whatever that might be, he had to do what he did. But we can look at Benghazi. There's no, Obama got away with a lot of stuff. You and I talked about that 8 years ago, Alex, about Obama, the birth certificate, the whole issue, you know. But nobody has gotten away with the kind of illegal things going all the way back to Whitewater.
And Pastor Manning, going back to Julius Caesar 2,000 plus years ago, 2,050-something years ago, he wrote about corruption. People don't get it. They start corrupting on purpose to get others involved, so now they control the whole system. And it looks like they're finally hitting that critical mass where the whole top of the structure is corrupt. Right. Everybody has been manipulated into it in the belief they're keeping America going, too big to fail. But in truth, they've let the globalists take over by allowing the corruption to get to this level.
And that's the other thing, how the globalists are playing into this process, and people are told, listen, you want to eat bread, you want to live in this nation, you want to avoid going to jail or going to prison. Listen, Alex, if the FBI decided right now to investigate me on anything, they could put me in jail. If they wanted to do it, they could, and then I'd have to prove that I'm innocent.
Yeah, they can indict a ham sandwich. I mean, they could just say you gave a false statement.
Absolutely. So it's a matter of whether or not you want to play ball, and Americans are still eating. You know, we're still fairly to
sure,
some
but
degree.
Hillary now knows she can go for broke. What do you expect her to do? We're going to break in a minute and a half. If she gets in, what does she do?
It's going to be chaos like you've never seen before. She holds the power over a lot of people. I think the first person you're going to see fall and expose is going to be Obama, and if he's not first, Alex, the group that will fall will be the African American or the black people. She hates them. They kicked her in the teeth, and she has not. When I look at her and I see her interacting with Black Lives Matter, or when she approaches
very uncomfortable
African American people, she's very uncomfortable, Alex. She hates them. They kicked her in the teeth. They spit on her.
Before that, back when she was co-governor, and then first in the presidency with Obama, I mean, with the Clinton, she said, we got to make these black people heal.
Yeah, and so I think that you're going to see chaos, eruption upon black people and also on Obama when she comes to power. And there'll be nothing anybody can do about it. Nothing anybody can do about it.
But other points that you'd like to make about what you expect to happen in the future and other things that you're looking at right now.
I'd like to respond to Nigel Farage in terms of his stepping away from the leadership of the UK at this present time. And what I want to say is whether or not we want to track or the last time the UK has been hit with a major terrorist attack, when you right across the English Channel, you've got several attacks both in Paris and in Brussels. And was Farage, and I consider him to be a noble person. He was defeated by a Muslim as mayor of London. But, and this is a question, I certainly don't mean to cast aspersions on him in any way, but you know, the ISIS boys could have said, we'll let England go free of terrorist attacks for 2 or 3 years if you do not lead an opposition movement against try to get.
Well, I know he almost died in a plane crash. I mean, I know he doesn't talk about it, but he gets mega death threats. And I mean, so, there's actually an article about that they're threatening to kill him right now, and that his family wants him to step down.
Did he get something such as be noble? We will not bring any terrorist attack to London soil if you'll step away from opposing us. You know, the bombing in Istanbul at the airport. In a Muslim nation, one would wonder why are Muslims bombing Muslims? Was the same thing in Baghdad with the Shiites and the Sunnis.
I was about to say, we saw ISIS attack 5 different targets over the weekend, and mainstream media would not even say Islamic.
Right, Obama won't say, and Donald Trump said last night, Obama won't say ISIL either. ISIS, rather, he says ISIL. But, you know, what's happening is that the ISIS and Muslims are saying, listen, we want control. We want control of Turkey. You're a major nation. You're right here on the coast of Europe. We want you under our authority and our power. Don't do it. We're going to bring horrific events to your citizens here. Make them bow down. Make France bow down.
Have you seen how the new Muslim mayor of London is already saying we can't have any women in bathing suits on government buses? Advertising, and he's now saying he's going to go after folks that criticize Muslims. He says he may try to break away from England too and take London over and make it London stand. I mean, look, I didn't used to sit here and bash the Muslims, but give me a break. Once they get to a concentrated level, the radical Muslims, the Orthodox Muslims, whatever you want to call it, they get radical and they start taking over. That is their plan to overthrow our free societies. Why is the left bringing them in?
For that reason, why is the left bringing them in? Because the left, if you will, are being told that if they don't do it, if they do it, first of all, they will be greatly rewarded. If they do so, they'll be protected. They'll have the mega incomes and mega positions of authority. But if they don't do it, they get absolutely nothing. In fact, they get the kiss of death. So for them, the choice is let it happen and perhaps somehow another.
I was about to say, a lot of experts I've talked to say that's why the left does grovel to Islam. They're afraid of it. Whereas Christians and conservatives and libertarians, we're so nice and friendly, we let them push us around. We let the biggest wimps on earth push us around while they roll a red carpet out to people that throw homosexuals off buildings.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that every religion has, Alex, at its basic premise, world domination. I mean, it doesn't always have to be an evil, malicious, violent one. But every religion wants to be the #1 religion. It wants to dominate the world, and it wants all people on planet Earth to be adherents.
And that's it. The left are collaborators by instinct. They used to collaborate with the communists. Now they collaborate with the Muslims, and that's just they're horrible people.
Yeah. So you know, we have to realize that this is what's happening right now. Christians are wimpy as they come. I mean, I don't know if I want to call them Christians.
So we've invited this. Christian persecution, the UN admits, doubled the last 8 years. Christians are the most persecuted group on earth times everybody else, and we won't stand up for ourselves, so we've asked for it.
You know, I think there's been a dumbing down, and the media has played a major role in the dumbing down of the Christian faith. And as a result of that, America has lost its fighting forces. Last time we were on, I think you asked a question about how you're going to wake up these people. The people that need to be awakened, the Christians, the people that are looking at what Donald Trump is doing is we need men all over America to speak as Donald Trump has spoken, to confront the powers that be, to confront the globalist ideologies.
We've got to realize how much, I mean, imagine the threats you and I have gone through. Can you imagine for Trump? It must be 100 times.
Yeah, to be sure. But when we get men, you get, if we could get 100,000 men to stand up in the various states across America with the same kind of cojones that Trump is demonstrating, we could take this nation back. But we're not doing that. They're being dumbed down. They're being told by their families, they're being told by the media that we need to be more tolerant. We need to accept other religions. I don't know if you're aware of what's happening in a real sense, what's happening religiously in the UK. Forget about the European Union. I mean, Muslims, Islam is taking over. Everywhere you go there are signs. There's the smell of Islamic food. There's a Islamic dress. And pretty soon in London, you will not be able to wear a swimsuit or demonstrate or say anything negative against against a Muslim in London.
Well, let me tell you, I've been to London quite a bit over the years, and man, it's changed since the last 10. And the Muslims are aggressive, and they are in your face. Now, the minute I start yelling back at them, they back off. They think I'm some European. They tell me not to film, and I'm filming not even them. They run over at my face. I go, look, let's go. But, at a certain point, I'm getting sick of it. Let's take a couple calls for Pastor Manning. He's absolutely on target. Maurice in Virginia, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, how you doing? I'm Pastor Manning and Alex, first-time caller. I listen all the time, and I follow both of you on YouTube.
Thank you.
So I think Pastor Manning hit on the dissension between Obama and Hillary. First, I want to go to my first point is Comey and Lynch. Lynch came out and said that she was going to review the statement before it was said, before it was released. But then Comey comes out yesterday and said, nobody's reviewed my statement. That's a complete contradiction. Did you both catch that?
I did. In fact, he said nobody knew I was going to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, we heard that.
How do you review something that you don't know? And then that's the first question. Second question is we have to be careful of not being tunnel vision with Obama and Hillary, because I think Hillary doesn't trust him. I don't think Obama trusts Hillary to further his legacy. I really don't. I think they're going to, after the convention, they're going to swap Hillary out for Obama. She's going to be the sacrificial lamb. I honestly believe that because he doesn't trust Sanders because he's anti-trade, and he doesn't trust Hillary, as Pastor Manning brought up, because there's
well, that's a good thing we got going for us is these people all hate each other. Those are great points, Maurice. Pastor Manning?
Well, the way Obama was praising Hillary in Charlotte on yesterday.
He said she's the best person ever for president.
I've never heard any president praise a candidate the way Obama was praising Hillary. So there are a couple of things. One is that you might be right that she could become a sacrificial lamb. She didn't look much like a lamb on yesterday. She looked more like a rhinoceros, and Obama looked like a lamb. Now, that could be a matter of deception, because you never know what the hell these people are thinking about because they're so deceitful. But on the other hand, Hillary has the potential of having information about Obama that was given to her from a number of patriotic sources around America, and she's got them on the email server, or she's got them there. And I saw a very weak person. I saw a very weak Obama on yesterday. It could have been deception, but who knows? Well, the Clintons know where all the bodies are buried, and they've got the real power structure behind them. So we're all got front row seats to this. Very exciting time to be alive. Maurice, thanks for the great points. I'm going to go to Mel and Daniel and Greg and Margaret and everybody, but I want to play this clip of Larry Nichols last Friday live with us on air. Then we're going to briefly have him respond to it. When he's been saying this for over a year, that they will not indict Hillary. The fix is in. And he's got the contacts. I know some of the similar contacts. Doesn't mean his contacts are always 100% right, or the Clintons may not change course. But this is what Larry Nichols had to say last Friday.
Here's what they're doing. She's not going to be indicted. It's over. It's over. She's not going to be indicted.
So that's the decision. They're rubbing our noses in it, squatting in our face, letting us know.
And if anyone, what that meeting was about for those career prosecutors, she's not going to be indicted. But there's going to be all kind of searching and talking to these prosecutors that have worked on the case. And if any one of them dare to open their mouth and to say that they were coerced into backing off an indictment, she now has something to hand them. I'll just give you two just two of the federal prosecutors working on this case. One of them is a pedophile. One of them has a male lover, and he's a male.
All right, let's stop right there.
Being a queer don't mean much anymore. But
and of course. Okay, so that full clip's about 5 minutes long. It's up on Infowars.com. Let's bring him in to co-host with myself and Pastor Manning. Continue on with your phone calls after the break. Larry, you called it. Give us the aftermath.
What you're seeing today is, well, actually what you saw in his press conference, Comey's, you saw the result. Comey was mad. I think you could tell it, Alex. Look at his entire
He looked freaked
statement.
out. I mean, he looked freaked. He didn't look like he normally does.
No. And so what happened, if you look at it, the text of his statement, all the way through, Alex, it's saying we're going to recommend her to be prosecuted. But then at the very end, at the last minute, boom, here it is.
He says we can't get prosecutors to do it, kind of telling us they've been blackmailed.
Exactly. So what happened to Mr. Comey is he gets out there, and that Friday meeting worked. You know, they went in, explained to Lynch, and then Lynch took it and explained it to Comey and the prosecutors. And at the last minute, he had to take out the recommendation to prosecute. That's why he was mad. That's why he looked so weird. And that's why his text of his statement was so odd. You know, even everybody, even liberal media people are saying it was weird that he talked all the way through and everybody thought he was going to indict or recommend an indictment. But he didn't.
So he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. Go ahead and say she is horrible. She should be indicted, but we can't find prosecutors that'll do it, which is pretty, wow, I tell you, that is dead on. That makes a lot of sense. Now, do you have that from your sources or from working with the Clintons?
Well, both, actually. Both. Now,
I'm going to skip this network break. I'm going to skip this break. This is too important. Our whole country's in jeopardy, folks, but just support the broadcast. Pastor Manning's here. He can pop in anytime he likes. Manning's been, of course, on the front lines of taking on the Clintons and Obama. But Larry Nichols continuing on here, consummate Clinton insider, other points.
Well, you know, Alex, if I can just, Larry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, please jump in.
No, you know, Donald Trump has said Hillary is the most crooked, most corrupt politician to ever run for office. He's absolutely right. Nobody has a history of corruption as long-standing and replete as Hillary. Going all the way back to Whitewater in Arkansas and the Rose Law Firm, to Vince Foster, to presently where she is. I mean, there's just nobody with that kind of a pedigree.
You're absolutely right.
Nobody that corrupt. And I think that statement that Donald is making needs to be looked at a lot deeper than most people are taking it as a verse of comedy, a statement of comedy. We're looking at a person, and if she is the most corrupt, then my question would be, if she's more corrupt than any other person that's ever sought this office, is she more skilled at handling corruption than anybody else? And I stated earlier today that Bill Clinton perhaps would not be as corrupt as he is if he had not been inspired.
Well, I was about to say, more and more experts that were there say that Hillary was really the president and that she ran the show, and that she would actually, this is confirmed, come in and beat the hell out of him, and he was scared of her.
Yeah. I mean, and so has she been running the show for quite some time? We're looking at a very serious issue within our nation.
Well, let me ask Larry Nichols this, because he's on record helping put him in power and the whole 9 yards until they started murdering kids, and he had to stand up and say no to it. If you're a new listener, he's behind the Clinton Chronicles, everything that we know originally about the Clintons. Who is wearing the pants in this relationship? I mean, Bill looks like he's a corpse now.
Alex, Alex, Pastor, listen, don't even think any other way. Hillary is the pants in that family. Hillary is the power. Look, all Bill Clinton wanted, for being president, for being governor, he just wanted the perks. He never wanted to run. He didn't want to do the job. He just wanted the perks, chasing women, being a rock star, the whole 9 yards. Hillary pulls all of the strings. Anybody around her today knows that she pulls the strings. Bill's nothing. Bill Clinton is absolutely nothing. Hillary is the power. And Pastor, you were talking about going back to the Rose Law Firm. I don't think people remember. Hillary was actually fired from working on the staff that was doing the impeachment work on Richard Nixon. She
dummied up evidence. She dummied evidence.
Yeah, because she was so deceitful, and the guy that was doing it had literally fired her. So she's got a real good pedigree.
She's a true demon. So is she a sociopath, a psychopath? What would you say she is, Larry?
God. Now, Alex, that's the damnedest question I've ever, excuse me, Pastor, didn't mean to say damnedest, but that's the damnedest question I've heard, because I don't know how you answer that. She is, she is a sociopath. She is.
Now, let me expand on this, because this is a question for Pastor Manning and you. First Manning, where do you think they go next? Is she emboldened by the arrogance? It really seems to even wake up the leftist media. So what does this signify? I mean, how does this calculus come together, Manning? And then I want to go to Nichols.
She has to take the presidency at all costs, and
she has to fail forward. Then,
yeah, she's got to take the presidency. She's absolutely positively got to do that. And then from there, she will begin to get revenge. I mean, she's a psychopath, a sociopath. She certainly is demon possessed, and this is certainly not a swipe at women. Certainly not. But she principally, like most women, will seek revenge once the power has been stored to her. Now, I'm not against women. All the women, don't start hating me.
But it's well known that that's the stereotype of women, is the vengefulness, and men do it too. But you know.
And so as a woman president, she's going to seek vengeance. She can't resist it. She will not be able to resist it.
All I know is I was nothing when they were in, and the Clintons really gave me some problems. They got me fired. They had me attacked, physically attacked. So yeah, Manning, what do you expect to happen if she gets into me? I mean, we know they bombed Oklahoma City to blame Limbaugh, so maybe they'll just do a false flag and blame it on me.
This is very serious advice. Do not have any tax liabilities. Have nothing where they can approach you from a taxable point of view.
Absolutely.
And prosecute you. Make sure your properties are not having any tax liabilities. No. That's going to be the first line of defense for every patriot once Hillary.
Well, Mike, look what they did to the Christians with Obama. And they say, absolutely. Let me ask Nichols that question. What do you expect to happen, my friend, to yourself? You're one of their, Drudge. They're foaming at the mouth to go after Drudge. They're admitting they want to go out. The Democratic platform says arrest climate change deniers. I mean, this is like Maoist or something.
Yeah. Alex, let me tell you, yesterday when I saw it go down, where she's not getting a recommendation to prosecute.
And then Obama started kissing her butt when he doesn't like her. That shows he's scared of her now. He knows which way the cabbage. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now, let me tell you now, I'm scared to say this because it was something Vince Foster said, but I'm going to tell you, when she got off from the email thing. Now, remember, she had just gotten off from the Republicans on the Benghazi. They rolled over. So now, Alex, think about it. This is what I thought about the minute that happened yesterday. Do you realize I'm the only thing between her and the presidency? Me. I mean, yeah, you got Trump.
No, but I know you were there, and you know where the bodies are buried. Clinton said in the New York Times he fears you.
So you see, that was a pretty awesome feeling I had, thinking, oh my God, I'm there. I'm the one in between them. And I'm going to tell you, revenge, Hillary Clinton has all of Washington, D.C. shaking to their knees right now. She has the FBI. I'm sorry.
Very powerful, Larry. Very powerful. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, she has the raw FBI personnel files on all of them, on all the congressmen, senators, their staffers, the media. She's got it all.
We're going to have the Jezebel demon princess as our queen.
That's right.
You're right.
Pastor Manning, can you do 5 more minutes with myself and Nichols? Or you got to go?
Yeah, I can.
Well, take us out to break. We're 60 seconds. Take us out to break, Manning. You're chomping at the bit. I am too. Go ahead.
The Jezebel of modern times is now before us on television, running for president, and most likely is going to take it hook or crook. And so when you said Jezebel, that is how she ought to be identified. And when we look at the kind of power and the corruption and the pain that Jezebel brought to the people of Samaria and the people of Israel in the northern kingdom, we need to get ready here in America.
That's right. This country's going under judgment. Pastor Manning, closing comments from you, then I'm going to get closing comments here from Larry Nichols. I'm going to come back and take calls and go to our next guest. But this has been an epic last hour. People can't say the shows just get more and more powerful. That's because it's reality. This isn't a game. This isn't entertainment. You've been visited. I've been visited. I mean, this isn't a game. But we understand that if we lose this, we lose everything. So there's nothing to lose but laying down. We fight, we win.
Alex, you are both historically, scripturally, and according to physics, you're dead on. For the action, the reaction, historically and scripturally, when Jezebels take place or when the enemy comes in like a flood, God does raise up a standard. That is the opposite reaction. And Hillary is going to perhaps bring America back to its senses again and raise up the standard against her, as was in the days of Ahab and Jezebel. When all 850 prophets were eating at her table, God brought in one prophet by the name of Elijah, who called for no dew nor rain for a period of 3 years to bring down the power of the kingdom. So you're right on 3 points, and all you have to do is just follow those 3 points. And I've always taught that if you want to know how to do something and how to succeed at it, no matter what might be your religious or spiritual beliefs, if you do it the way the Bible does, or the way God does, you'll always have great success. So I think for your looking back to Jezebel and Ahab and looking at what happened in physics in terms of reaction, you're dead on. And we can take comfort in that. Though it might look dark and gloomy now, we can take comfort in the fact that even Hillary herself is not greater than the truth of physics. She can't defeat physics.
Atla.org. The Spirit of the Lord is strong with this one. Thank you, Pastor Manning. Thank you. Going back to Larry Nichols. Thank you, sir. Larry Nichols, minute and a half, closing comments. You've been dead on, my friend. We're praying for you. Look forward to getting you on for a full hour to take calls sometime next week. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I mean, Alex, it's just where it is. You will see the most incredible thing happening now that you've ever seen. The media and everybody, they know Hillary, and they're scared to death of her. She's going to be able to snap her finger, Alex, just snap her finger. And the media is going to not cover a story that she doesn't want covered. They're going to cover a story that she wants covered. They're going to be able to lie and propagate all manner of scandals and things against Trump. And the media is so afraid. Everybody wants.
So you're saying get ready to really see Hillary become fire-breathing. We're about to see the real Hillary.
Oh, my God, yes, yes. I mean, buddy, it's over unless we win.
I just can't believe that the Washington elites, who aren't perfect, but there's some different elites that aren't all bad, and other groups are really going to let this crazy person get full control.
They don't have a choice now, Alex. They don't. This is that day that I've been afraid of for years and years and years. This is that day. And it's going to happen as sure as you and I are sitting here. It's going to happen with the pastor being on. You know, I'm just telling you, it's all
No, I'm just getting myself right with God. I mean, you can look at her. Yeah. She is a freaking demon. I mean, that woman has the eyes of a serial killer. She just, sends a chill up my spine. God bless you, Larry. We're praying for you, my friend.